Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's program, Secrets of Search Engine Success. Today we're going to talk all about how to get at the top of the search results in the organic, not in the pay-to-play, but in the organic search. Now, there are lots of people out there who will tell you they know how to get at the top of the search results, and some will charge you a pretty penny for doing it. So it's important that you know that you're listening to somebody who knows how to do it. If you do a search on Google and do a search on tourism, internet marketing speaker, it's one of my key terms, you can see above that there are about 4,830,000 results. And the first one is Susan Sweeney, and the second one is Susan Sweeney in Google on that search term. That's a niche term, but this is what you're looking to have happen with your business. Somebody who doesn't know that you exist, so your name is not there. A term that is going to be very narrow. They're looking for somebody specifically to provide a service or to provide a product. So you want, when somebody does that niche, narrow search, you want your site to come up number 1, 2, certainly at least on the first page. Then we've got Bing. Bing is the second major. And for the search tourism internet marketing speaker, the top, we've got ads. The first 3 are ads. And then mine is the second listing on Bing. And then if we go a little bit wider, internet marketing speaker, because there are a lot of people speak on internet marketing. A lot of people who speak on internet marketing speak on search engine optimization. Again, you can see here we've got 30 million results. And after the 2 ads at the top, Susan Sweeney is number 3. So that's not bad in terms of search engine optimization for a very broad topic. Same thing here. We go to Bing, internet marketing speaker, and the first 3 are ads, and then I'm number 3 on Bing. Now, some of the things that I'm going to tell you about today will relate to how old your site is, and Susan Sweeney's been around for a while. eLearningU, though, has not been, and so we optimized eLearningU for tourism webinars. So if you look at do a search on tourism webinars, Susan Sweeney comes up number 1, but eLearningU is on the first page, and eLearningU is only a year and a half old. So it is possible to get sites that are relatively new. So it's not that easy, but it is. But it can be done to get sites that are not that old on the first page of the search results. And here, tourism webinars on Bing, we're number 3, eLearningU. So today what I'm going to do is share with you how I do search engine optimization and how this whole thing works so that you can replicate it within your business. There is a formula for the search engines. Basically, it's like a little test. And whoever scores the highest on the test is the one that gets the top rank in the search results. So that test has a number of points, and there are points for different things. There are points allocated for keywords, and that's the placement. That's the phrase that somebody's searching on, and the search engine is looking for that phrase in a number of different places on the various pages of your site. And we'll go through this in depth. But you earn the points that you earn for the keyword points. And then there are also points for link popularity and link relevancy. Again, I'm going to go through all the details of this, but you earn points for that. Whatever you've earned, you get. And then you've got miscellaneous points. That would be things like how old your site is, how frequently you update, those types of things. So the search engine goes out and takes a look at all these things and in a nanosecond kind of calculates what your score is versus what your competitors' scores are. And whoever gets the highest score gets placed at the top of the search result. So that's basically in a nutshell how these search engines work. Now, the methodology on how you are going to make this work within your own business. The first thing that you're going to do is take a look and see which search engines you care about. There are lots of different search engines out there, and you're not going to focus on them all. You're going to focus on the majors. We'll talk about that. You're also going to take a look and see what the algorithms are, what the formula, what these search engines are, giving points for. So, they don't tell you all these things, but it's some of these things you can find out. So we'll take a little look at the algorithms, or as much as I know about the algorithms. The next thing that you need to do is determine what keyword phrases you're going to focus on in your search engine optimization. And your business name and your personal name, those are ones that if somebody knows your business name or knows your personal name, they're going to figure out how to find you. What you're really looking for is those people that don't know that you exist, that are looking for your product or service. Now, if your product or service is only offered locally, then you might want to put the geographic in there as well, because you don't want somebody who's looking for your service, but they're looking for it in Los Angeles and it's not, and you don't work in that area. So if you only work in the local area, the geographic is something that should be put in there as well. But we'll take a look at the keyword phrases, and the keyword phrases are the ones that people are likely to search on. We'll talk a bit about how to determine those and how to refine your research. The next thing, and this is the most often missed piece, and that is you need to assign different keyword phrases to different pages. And that is because the first element of the formula, the keyword phrase points, those are done on a page-by-page basis. And this is a piece that's often missed. A lot of people kind of take all the keyword phrases that anybody might search on, and then they do keyword stuffing. They stuff them all on every single page, and it gives less of a theme or less relevance to every single page. So this is a really important piece. If you get nothing else, this is one of the things that's going to help you get at the top of the search results. The next thing that you do is you take the keyword phrase that you've assigned to that page, and then for that page, you populate it with that keyword phrase and put it in all the places that we're going to see are in the search engine formula. Then you do your work on the link points, and you do the work on the miscellaneous points, and then when it all comes together, hopefully you're that number one or certainly on the first page of the search results. So now we'll dig a little bit deeper, but this is kind of the overall methodology that we're going to cover today. The first thing is which search engines. Of course, Google is the granddaddy and the big guy for all search engines. This report shows that Google has 66% market share. And then we've got Microsoft, which is Bing, and then Yahoo. Now, it's important to know as well that fairly recently, Yahoo has decided that they're going to use the Bing results. So if you score high on Bing, you'll automatically score high on Yahoo. So really, you're going to be concerned with two. You're going to be concerned with Google, that's the major, and if you only focus on one, it's Google, and then Bing. So the next thing that we want to take a look at is what's in the search engine's formula. Now, you have to realize that the search engines are not going to tell you what's in their formula. If Google tells you what's in their formula, then they're telling Bing what's in their formula, and they're giving away their Colonel Sanders recipe. So they're not going to give you. And also realize that the search engine companies have like 800 crackerjack programmers tweaking and fine-tuning these formulas on a daily basis. I have heard a number of times, and once from an individual from Google, that at any point in time, Google has about 30% of the traffic going to a different search engine, one where they're testing and fine-tuning the formula. And they're looking at whether or not these people are staying longer when they visit those sites, whether or not, in fact, it's giving better results before they bring it into the mainstream and offer those tweaks to the formula to everybody. But recognize that the different search engines have different algorithms or different formulas. They're giving different points to different elements. That they also have a different weighting. That although Bing and Google both might be looking for the keyword phrase in the text on the page, Google might be giving it a much higher weight than Bing. And this is going to change over time. The weighting changes over time. The formula changes over time. And as I said, you've got results coming from different servers when they're doing the testing on different elements that they want to incorporate into their formula. And of course, now we've got a whole other range of things coming into search engine results, and that is local search and behavioral search. Behavioral search is where the search engines know that you have searched before, and they're keeping track of the searches that you have done in the past and what you've chosen. So as an example there, behavioral. If you have done a search several times on Jaguar, and the results show the animal and the car, and every time you chose the car, then it will show you more of the car results than the animal results the next time you do a search on Jaguar. So this behavioral element is coming into the search engine search engines as well. The next thing that you need to do is you need to determine the keyword phrases that are important to you. And this is where you really need to do some good research. What you would initially do is you'll start out with taking your marketing material. So, print out the pages of your website, print out your blog, take your brochures or your ads or press releases or anything that you've got from a marketing perspective. And then just just go through and highlight any words that you see that might be, or any phrases. People generally searching on a 2-3 word phrase. So any phrases that you think might be searched on when somebody's looking for your type of business. And then you'll come up with a fairly big list if you go through this. And then just do a little bit of additional brainstorming on other words, other phrases that you don't have on your list that might be things that people would search on if they're looking for you. So you come up with that kind of master keyword list, and then you start to refine it. So then what you do is you take that list, and then you go to these tools, and there are a number of them. And you can Google as well, keyword selector tools, to find some additional ones. But you go to some of these tools, and then you start to put in all of the phrases to do the research. And when you go into these tools and put these phrases that you've got on your master list in, it'll tell you things like how often that particular phrase was searched on, how often it was searched on per month for the last 12 months. And then you might say, okay, well, man, this was only searched on 12 times. I'm not going to worry about that phrase. I'm going to look at look at these other ones that are searched on a whole lot more. So you'll kind of bring your keywords down through a funnel. You'll start to eliminate some that you're not going to focus on. And at the end of the day, what you want to start off with is a handful. You want to start off with, 10, 12 keyword phrases. We'll talk a little bit more about how you select them. But you'll also, Word Tracker as an example, when you put in a phrase, it'll tell you what similar phrases were searched on and how often they were searched on. So it'll give you a thesaurus, if you like, of similar keyword phrases. And so by doing the research this way, you can come up with those phrases that have been searched on the most often that will fit with your site. Now, here too, when I get into working with a client on this, I also try and look at whether these phrases would be searched on by somebody who is just doing very broad-based general research, or whether they're tire kickers or whether they're buyers. Because people will use different phrases when they're ready to buy than if they are just starting to do their preliminary research. So again, this is an important piece. If you have phrases that are much more likely to be used when somebody's in the buying mode, those are ones that you want to focus on, because that's who you want to get to the site through the search engines. Now, how many keyword phrases? The first thing that I would suggest is, once you know how to do this, you can then implement it, on all the pages. And I mean, my site has over 1,000 pages on it. You're not going to optimize every single one of them. So what you would do to start is you would take a look at how many pages you've got that are one level down from your home page. So that is basically how many items do you have in your navigation bar, because when you click on any one of those, you're going one level down. So ideally, when you're starting out with this, I would do one phrase per page, and I would optimize the home page as well as one level down. So, if you've got 9 buttons in your navigation bar plus your home page, that's 10. So I would take 10 phrases. So you're going to look for the absolute best 10 phrases. So, and then you're going to optimize those pages. And once you've figured out, and once you say, okay, now I've got it, now what I'm doing is working, then go back and do a second, run through on additional keyword phrases that you didn't use the first time around, and then go to other pages that are on your site and optimize those as well. The next thing that you do, and like I say, this is the most important piece, you assign specific keywords to specific pages, specific keyword phrases. Now, the way that you do this is basically you go back to grade 2. And do you remember way back in grade 2 when the teacher would give you a piece of paper and it had words down one side and definitions down the other, and then you had to match them? You're basically going to do the same type of thing. You're going to take your keyword phrases and put them down one side of the page. And on the other side of the page, you're going to put down, you're going to list the pages that you're going to optimize. And now what you're going to look for is, what phrase can I get in the text and in the headers and all those different places most easily? So which text, which 3 words of text in the keyword phrase will fit best with which of these pages? And then you'll allocate different keyword phrases to different pages that way. So now what you've got is you've got the 10 pages that you're going to optimize. And for each one of them, you have 1, 2, 3 word keyword phrase that you're going to really go crazy and try to optimize for the search engines. Now, I hesitate a little bit with saying you go absolutely crazy, because over the last few years, the search engines have gotten a little bit sensitive to anybody who over optimizes a page. They look for pages that have, have really gone crazy with some of the techniques that I'm going to talk about. And I'll advise you as we go through, but they're trying to make sure that that they put the top results, not just the best people at search engine optimization. They're trying to get the best sites at the top of the search results. So let's take a little look. The first thing is that you want to populate each page with the assigned keyword. And like I say, there's a penalty for over-optimized pages, so you need to be careful, and I'll point those out. But the search engines are looking for the keyword phrase in these places, and they have points available. Now, the domain name is www.yourcompanyname.com. But and great if you've got, with us eLearning, if somebody does a search on eLearning, we've got eLearningU right in the domain name, so that helps us greatly to get at the top of the search results. However, your company name might be, connectsnetwork.com. Nobody's, so what you care about there is what's after the slash. So when you go to the various pages on your site, you've got www.yourcompanyname.com/homepage or /medical devices, or, so it's what's after that slash that the search engine cares about as well. So that's where you want to try and get the keyword phrase, if at all possible, either in the domain itself or after the slash. The page titles are another place, and don't worry if you don't know what these things are, because I'm going to show you examples of every single one of these. Page text is another area that they're looking for it, and they go deep into the page text. The meta tags, keyword meta tag, you want to be really careful with that one, because there's been so much said about the keyword meta tag. It's one that people who are optimizing sites for the search engines really paid a lot of close attention to in the past, and maximize the keyword phrase in that meta tag. But now the search engines are saying that they don't use them. Bing is saying that they do use it, but they use it only to find who is spamming, to give negative points for the over-optimization. So be very, very careful about the keyword meta tag. I still use the keyword meta tag. I haven't changed it, but it's not over-optimized. So just, forewarned is forearmed. The next thing is the description meta tag, and I'm going to show you all of these. That's important: comments, alt tags, and headers. Let's dig a little deeper into these. This one here, when I'm talking about the domain name, this one here is the emoryconferencecenter.com/wedding. Now, you can see that they've got the keyword phrase. I did a search here on Wedding Hotel Atlanta. So they've got that word wedding. And if you look down, every one of these examples with the red circles, that is what the web address is. And so you'll see that the word Embassy Suites /en/es/hotel/wedding. So it's in there. And you can see that all top 3 have the keyword phrase that's being searched on in the domain name. So that will show you how important that is. So that's one of the things that you want to try to do on the page that you're optimizing. The next thing is the page title. Now, every single page of your website has a page title, and quite often it just says homepage, or you've got the exact same page title on every single page of your website. So you want to be really careful. It's important for the search engines, but it's also important because if anybody is doing a search, or if anybody saves a page of your site to their bookmarks or favorites, it grabs the page title and uses that as a description. So if somebody has visited your website, they've saved it to their bookmarks or favorites, and your page title says homepage, then every time they go to the bookmarks or favorites, all they see is homepage. They don't know what site that was, who, why they even saved it. But if it has your company name, then every single time they look down through the bookmarks or favorites, they're being reminded. There was one that, there was a lobster site that I used to use, and every time I looked down through my bookmarks, I would see the lobster, and it reminded me of the lobster that I had ordered. And, I found that I was ordering more lobster every time I went down through my bookmarks or favorites. That's what you want to have happen when somebody saves your page to the bookmarks or favorites. Now, the page title, here I've just added this page to my bookmarks or favorites, and notice it says Kiowa Island Golf Resort, Kiowa Island near Charleston, South Carolina. Notice the two places. The page title appears at the very, very top of the page when you're on it, so up, above the address bar. And then if you go to add it to your bookmarks or favorites, it grabs the exact same page title. Or you can go in and do view source and see the coding on that page, and you'll see the page title that way. But this is something, go through every single page of your website and just go page to page to page. Look for that page title and see if it's different on every single page. You should be focusing on a different keyword phrase on every page, so therefore the title should be different on every page, and it should be incorporating the keyword phrase that you've assigned to that particular page. Here is another page on that same website. Spas in South Carolina. You'll notice when I've added it to my bookmark or favorite, it grabs the same page title, but you'll notice that they have different titles, different page titles for every single page. This page is the Sanctuary Luxury Spa, so the very first word here is spa. And notice that they've got spa 3 times in that page title. So with the page title, don't have it 300 characters, because the more words you've got in there, the less relevance given to every single one of them. So if you're focusing on one phrase, that's 2 words or 3 words, get that phrase in there at the very beginning, and then your business name, because order matters. So if it's at the beginning, it matters more than if it's at the end. If you've got 20 words in there versus 3 words, a lot more points for 3 words than there are for 10, because you're dividing the 3 by 10. You only got 30% versus 100% of the words that are being searched on. Don't use any special characters in your page title, because that really messes up the search engines. Like I say, get that keyword phrase first, and have it different for every single page. Very, very important. So let's take a look now at the text on the page. And this is, it's important to have the keyword phrase in there appropriately, but it's also very important that when somebody comes to visit your website, that it reads well. So you really you have to have a great balance here. You can't put the words in for the search engine and not care about somebody who comes to visit the site, because if they come to visit the site, it doesn't read well, they're not going to buy. They're going to click away. So you really have to be careful with this piece. Now, what you want to do is get the keyword phrase you've assigned to this page in the first 200 characters. You get it as close to the very beginning as you possibly can. And then you want to have it several times throughout the text on that page. And depending upon how many words you've got on the page, you'll have it a different number of times throughout the page. What you're looking for is a keyword density of 2 to 4%. Not too much, but enough that it matters. Keyword density is basically a calculation. So let's say that your keyword phrase was, downtown Halifax hotel. And you, so that's 3 words. And let's say that you had it 5 times throughout the text on the page. So you've got a 3-word phrase, you've got it in there 5 times, so the total is 15 words. So that is your numerator. Then you do a word count and figure out how many words in total are on the page. If you do a word count, you can just copy and paste it into Word and then do a word count. And you find that there are 150 words on that page. That is the denominator. So now you've got 15 divided by 150. That gives you 10%. That's too much. That's too high. That will be seen to be spamming by the search engines. So what you want to do is manage the keyword phrase, very beginning, middle, and end. Get it in there enough that it matters, but not too much that it seems to be spamming. And for that, you'll do that keyword density calculation. You do get some extra points for having the keyword phrase that's being searched on either in bold or italics. But don't overdo it, because this is where the search engines are looking for the over-optimized and will penalize you. If every single time on that page you've got that one phrase in bold, you'll be penalized for it. So, if you've got it there 5 times, you could bold it once, maybe twice, Also, with the text, the freshness, the frequency of the posting matters. And we're going to talk about that more in the miscellaneous. Now, if you want to do the keyword density checker, there are lots of tools out there. So you can just Google keyword density checker, or you can go to webconfs.com, and they've got a free tool there. So you can put in the page of your site that you want to check on, and it will give you what words and what the density is. So here's this one here: Internet 7.59, Marketing 7.59, Susan 3.79. And you can see by the cloud which words are being focused on this particular page. With the text issues, the example that I gave was, downtown Halifax hotel. Doesn't matter if it's Halifax downtown hotel or hotel downtown Halifax. It doesn't matter much, but it matters some. So the best advice that I can give you is try and determine what sequence people are going to search on that phrase most often. And when you go back into that word tracker or the Google keyword tool, it'll tell you which sequence is used most often. And I would choose that sequence and then use that sequence on the page. So it does matter. Not, it's not absolutely crazy, because they do look at words that are in close proximity to each other, but as much as possible, I would go with the exact sequence. Another thing that you want to look at here is you will have links to other pages of your website. And if the keyword phrase is used in a link to another page, then that will help you in terms of link popularity and link relevancy. So if let's just take that downtown Halifax hotel is an important phrase for you, and you've got a page that you've assigned that to, then you go to the other pages on your site and see where you can put in that phrase, downtown Halifax hotel, and provide a link to your page that is the keyword. Because if that link includes the keywords, then that gives you some bonus points. So we're getting into some fine search engine optimization tips here. The next thing is you want to be really careful of duplicate content or mirror sites, because the search engines really, really don't like this. If you think, well, I own 5 domains and I'm going to put the exact same site on all 5 domains, and I don't need to update them all because I update them all at the same time because I've got the identical content. The search engines really don't like this, so you need to be very careful of duplicate content. Another thing that used to work way back in the olden days that will now penalize you greatly is we used to use tricks like we would put downtown Halifax hotel 300 times in a white font on a page with a white background. And the search engine back in the olden days didn't differentiate between the color of font and the color of background. Today it does big time. So, if somebody says to you, oh, we do this trick, don't, just run, because the search engines have negative elements in their formula, and they look for these types of things to see who's trying to spam and who's trying to use tricks to get to the top of the search results. So there are no tricks these days, or no things that you can do like this that used to work back in the olden days to get that top placement. You need to be very, very careful. Another thing is that some people don't realize that they've got their graphics, that they've got their text embedded in a graphic. Now, when I use a bad example, I choose somebody very, very far away. And this is Queensland, Australia, but it's Mooloolaba Beach. Now, they would think that they've got that Mooloolaba Beach, very well. Mooloolaba is there twice on the text on this page, but it's not. This is not text. This is a picture of text. And the search engines cannot read what's inside the picture. So be very careful when you're looking at your site and saying, okay, great, I've got that word in there X number of times, when really you've got it embedded in a graphic file that can't be read by the search engine. Now, We're going to talk about alt tags in a little bit. And an alt tag is a little tag that can go behind any graphic that says, if for some reason this picture cannot be shown, alternatively show this text. And they could have an alt tag on this image and have Mululaba Beach in the alt tag. Now, does that compensate? No, not really. You would have gotten the points for the alt tag anyway, and you're still not getting any points for having text on the page. And the text on the page is very, very valuable. So you want to make sure that you've got text that can be read by the search engines on the page. The next thing that we care about would be the meta tags. And the meta tags are basically, it's in the programming of that particular page. And the three that we're concerned with would be description. Description is very, very important, and we want to make sure that that's done properly. Keywords, the keyword meta tag, we want to be very, very careful of the use of the keyword meta tag. Some web developers are choosing not to use it at all. But if you do use it, make sure that it's not over optimized. And then we've got the robots tag, and the robots tag basically says that when the search engine comes in, it says, you've indexed this page, now follow all the links to all the other pages of my site and index them all or include them all in your database. So these are the three that we're going to be concerned with a little bit. Now, the description is very, very important. In the description meta tag, the search engines will take what you've used in your description meta tag and show it as the description for your site. So if you see here, the first example is Scottsdale, Arizona Spa and Massage. The description meta tag that they used was discover the Scottsdale, Arizona Spa at Four Seasons. So that they've basically given them the text. They've told the search engine, look, here's the text that we want you to use when you show our site in the search results. So it's very, very important that you do that, both from two perspectives. One is when somebody sees that description in the search result, they're going to determine based upon that description whether or not they're going to click and visit your site or whether they're going to go to the second or the third one down. So your description needs to read very well for anybody who finds that search result. It also, though, has to have the keyword phrase that's assigned to that page in there enough times to matter. So, it's a delicate balance here. It's no wonder that, people that do search engine optimization and do it well are in great demand. Here's an example of what the back of your, if you go into the programming of that particular page of your site, you'll see the description meta tag, the keyword meta tag, etc. And what's inside those quotes is what the search engine will grab and use in the search results. So again, it needs to read well, but you want to get the keyword phrase that's assigned to that page in there appropriately. Now you'll notice here that the robots are set to all. Robots are set to all or follow. And basically that says to follow all of the links to all the pages and include them all in your database. So with the description meta tag, the keyword phrase you've assigned to that page, get at the very beginning. Don't have it, run on for 500 characters because they're not all going to show in the search results. Keep it, about 150 characters is about a reasonable description tag. And then you want to repeat the keyword phrase you've assigned to that page in that page's description meta tag a couple of times. But again, it needs to read very well because it's based upon that description that the person who has done the search is going to decide whether they're going to visit your site or somebody else's. Again, you don't want to have too many words in there because what they do is they do that density calculation again. If you've got the keyword phrase in there and your description is 3 words, the keyword description you're focusing on is 3 words of a 10-word description, you get a lot more weight for it than if it's 3 words of a 300-word description. It's much more important and much more prevalent. So the number of words matter. And again, every page you're focusing on a different keyword phrase, so your description meta tag should be different on every single page. Go through and do, a view source and take a look at the programming of, take a look at the description meta tag on every single page, and it should be different. And again, make it really compelling. Maybe put in a call to action in that description so that when they're reading the description, when it comes up in the search results, they do choose you. So make it a really compelling, a really grabber keyword meta tag. Or sorry, description meta tag. The alt tags, as I mentioned, behind every single graphic, you've got the opportunity to have an alt tag. And basically it says, when your site is being displayed, it says, if for some reason this picture cannot be shown, alternatively, show this text. It's also used when, some people with a dial-up will turn off their graphics so that they can search faster. And it's also used in the Disabilities Act, that you should be using these alt tags for good programming. So alt tags are something that matter. Now, when you look at the alt tag in the programming of that particular page, you'll see something like this. Image source, img source equals, it says where the image, what image it is, but then the alt equals, and then inside the quotes, you'll see what's inside that alt tag. It's easy to find the alt tags. All you do is mouse over a picture, and if a little box of text appears, that will show you that you do, in fact, have an alt tag, and that is the phrase that's in that alt tag. Again, this is one where you want to be careful to not over-optimize. The search engines are onto this. So if you've got 15 alt tags on a page, I wouldn't have any more than 3 that have your keyword phrase in them. Your alt tag, it needs to make sense to the graphic, because if somebody is mousing over where the graphic is but is not showing, then they need to know what really is in that graphic. Important too for some of you that have images for your navigation bar. People need to be able to navigate through your site with these alt tags. If you're using graphics for your navigation bar, you should also have text-based navigation at the bottom of your page for that specific reason. So again, just be very, very careful to not over-optimize or go crazy with this one, because the search engines are onto it. The next piece is the headers, and the headers are paragraph subtitles, if you like, and I'm going to show you some examples. But in the programming, the headers would be either H1 or H2 or H4 tags, and the H1 tag is largest and H6 is the smallest. So you can have multiple headers on a page, and the search engines do look for what's between those header tags. So here is that Visit Tucson Spa page again, and what the search engine is really looking for is looking for this as a theme. They're looking for it in the domain. They're looking for it in the navigation. They're looking for it in the headers. They're looking for the text on the page. And they want to see a whole theme, that everything is all working together, that this is definitely a page about what somebody was specifically searching for. So if you look at the spas and the destination spas, those, down below the picture, those would be the header tags. When I go in and I do a search and I can see the programming on the back of their page, I can see that the spas is an H1 tag. And now, some web developers will do a paragraph subtitle like this, but what they'll do is they won't use an H1 tag. They will make it a different size font. So they might have that spas just as a larger font or bold or what have you. But hint, hint, hint. The search engines do not look between the tags that denote font, size, color, shape, etc. But they do look, and they do have points for everything that's between the H1 and the /H1. Everything that's between the H2 and the /H2. They look specifically in that area to see whether or not the keyword phrase that's being searched on is in a header tag. So again, very, very important that you do have these. A few things that you need to be careful of for the search engines. One is cul-de-sac pages, and those are pages that somebody will click from your navigation, and they'll go to a page that there's no way for them to get out. They've got to just click the back button. And because the way that the search engines work is the robots tell them to follow all the links. So they go from page to page by following the links. Well, if they get to a page that you have developed that has no navigation on it and no link to any other page, and you expect people to just go back up and click that back button to get out of there, then the search engine doesn't do that. So the search engine has no place to go. So they're not going to index all the other pages on your site. So that could be a problem. And also, the further you are away from the root, or the further you are away from the home page, the less likely the search engine is going to get down that deep. So you want to optimize the top pages with your most important keyword phrases. And always make it easy for the search engines that you always include text links at the bottom of your page. That makes it super easy for the search engines to be able to get to every single page on your site. You might also want to think about incorporating a sitemap. A sitemap is basically that table of contents that has a link to every single page of your site. So that helps the search engines as well. So the next piece that we want to take a look at is the link popularity. So for this keyword points, the search engine has points allocated for if the keyword phrase that's being searched on is in the domain, if it's in the page title, if it's in the header, if it's in the text on the page. But they also go deeper with bonus points. They look at if it's used in the page title, how many words are in that page title and what percentage is this keyword phrase of all those words. If it's a small one, then you get bonus points. If it's a large percentage, you get bonus points. If it's a small percentage, you'll lose, you won't get them. So there's the points, and then there's these bonus points or the additional points, because these the formula for the search engine, the algorithm, will have hundreds of elements in it. So it's not just that it's in the page title. There are probably 7 other pieces in that formula that you can get points for that relate to that page title. So let's take a look now at the link points, link popularity and link relevancy. Link popularity and link relevancy is extremely, extremely important. This is what actually differentiated Google in the very beginning. Way back in the olden days, there were lots of search engines. There were, Alta Vista, Lycos, Hotbot, Excite, tons of them. And they all had about equal market share. And then along came Google, and Google had a very heavy weighting for link popularity because their premise was that if a lot of people out there are providing a link to your website, you must be pretty good, because people don't provide a link to a website for no reason. So they decided that they would give a very heavy weighting to this link popularity piece, and the rest is history. They provided much better results, and everybody stopped using all the other search engines, and they've gone the way of the dinosaur, and Google is still at the top and still playing the game very, very well. So link popularity, what the search engines are looking for is how many sites out there are providing a link to you. That's the start. That's link popularity. And, you can find out how many sites are linking to you. You can also find out how many sites are linking to your competitors. Matter of fact, if you go and take a look at who's linking to your competitors, those might provide you with some good ideas on sites that you will want to go after for links for your site. So the number of links are important. But then link popularity. But then we also they've got bonus points for link relevancy. So you get points for everybody that links to you, but then you get bonus points if those sites that are linking to you are relevant to your site. So if you are a physiotherapist and the links to your site, you've got 100 links to your site, great, you get points for every single one of them. Then you get extra points. They go back and take a look at all those links to your site, and any of those that are from other physiotherapy or physiotherapy related type of sites, you get bonus points, you get additional points. So link relevancy is another thing that's important. So it's not only the number of links, but it's also the quality of the links. And the quality is not only what type of sites the link comes from, but also, is that site that it's coming from a site that's been around for 10 years? Is it one that has a lot of traffic? Is it one that is a resource, determined to be a resource site? What Google PageRank does that page that's providing you the link have? Those types of things. So there are lots of extra points based on a number of different things related to link popularity. Another big thing is if the link to your site is a text link, and that text link includes the keyword phrase that's being searched on, that's worth its weight in gold. Or if the link to your site has the keyword phrase that's being searched on in the text around that link, in close proximity to that link, you get bonus points as well. So there are lots of things that you need to look at in terms of link popularity and link relevancy. And you should have a strategy on how you're going to increase the number of links to your site. Now, we also have to be very, very careful because you can't spam the search engines. They know all the tricks. And there are a lot of sites out there, what we call link farms or free-for-all link sites, that say, just give us your web address and we will put it on every single one of our 15,000 sites and provide a link to your site, and you'll just score famously on this link popularity. Well, the search engines are onto that. And, the search engines coming out to your site on a regular basis. So do you suppose if they come out today and you've got 100 links to your site, and they come out tomorrow and you've got 110, and they come out the day after that and you've got 120, and they come out the day after that and you've got 15,000, that they're not going to notice? They do notice. And they notice where these links are coming from. They know all the free-for-all links and link farms. So you need to be very, very careful and do this thing right in terms of link popularity. Now, one of the things that can be done is, you can provide other sites with a link to your website. So let's say that you're a member of, a number of different associations that allow you to put your own description in there. You want to be careful that you don't use, definitely you want to put the keyword phrase in the link that's pointing to your site, if at all possible, if you can do that. But don't do it every single time with every single association, because then, don't put the exact same description, because then it seems like it's contrived. So what you will do is change up the description and maybe change up the link that's pointing to your site and point to different pages different times. We're getting into some fine tuning now in terms of SEO. Now, their social signals are really, really starting to, and social media implications are really starting to play a whole lot in terms of search engine optimization. And these are the things that the search engines are now testing the tweaking. And so, reputation matters. And you can have a like on your website. Forget your social media. You can have a like button on your website. And if a lot of people share that content through that like button, the search engines notice, particularly if they know that the person who's sharing that content has a good reputation or a good following on social media. Things like trust factor. If you have this like button on your page and you've got, 125 people like this content on this page, or 125 people share, that is really, really valuable. You've got a huge trust factor. If you don't even have that, like this web page on your site, you can't take advantage of this. And then also, think about when you are using your social media and you're providing links back to your website. Think about using the keyword phrases that are most important to your site in the link itself and in the text around the link that's pointing back to your site. You can do that in your setup, but you can also do it in any of the pages that you've made public on your site. So there are lots of different things that are coming into play where the search engines are tweaking their formula. So, there are lots of social plugins, and a number of them will help you if you have people sharing and liking the content on your site. There's a page that you can go to for all these social plugins, and it's in Facebook. And I'll put it on our eLearningU Facebook wall at the end of this session, unless I have it on the next slide. But there is a page that you can go to and you can download all of these plugins very quickly and very easily. Now, there's a lot going on, a lot changing these days with the whole social side of things. Google and Facebook, they're not friends. They don't like each other. They're actually fighting to see who's going to be the dominant player. And it's anybody's guess right now because they both are doing a lot of things right. It's interesting to see all the new changes that Facebook and the Facebook timeline and all of the things. When I look at things a little differently than most people, I look at things through a marketing lens. And so when I look at any new change in Facebook, I immediately say, okay, so what information is that giving them, and how are they going to be able to use that from a marketing perspective? And Google, the same thing. I mean, Google is coming out with buying up companies, buying up market share. I think Google just bought Wildfire, I believe. But they're buying up companies. They're coming out. I mean, Google Wallet is going to give them a ton of additional information on every individual. So there's so many different things coming out to play. And these guys are not pals. They're not friends. They will not share anything with each other that they don't have to. Google did have a deal with Twitter that they were able to review all the tweets, and that deal is expired. Whether it's going to be renewed or not, I don't know. Google Plus now is coming out as competition, so against a few other social media sites. So some players are not going to be too happy with sharing information with Google because of Google Plus. So there's a lot going on right now. And so what's getting indexed, what's in the formula, those types of things, it's all kind of up in the air. A few things that we do know. I mean, Facebook pages are public because when you do a search, sometimes your Facebook page will show up in the search results. So therefore, we know that they're indexed. So make sure that your page is public and it can be indexed. With your Facebook profile, for your individual personal profile, it really depends on the privacy setting that you've got set up, whether or not anybody can have access to that information behind there. The number, quality, and relevance of the networks that you're participating in will have an impact in some way, shape, or form on your search engine optimization. The better you're doing with your social media, the better you'll do with the search results, just because some of the things will be indexed. The more fans you have, the more followers you've got on Twitter, or subscribers to your YouTube channel, or those types of things. Some, if not all of these, can be indexed and can be incorporated into their algorithm or formula. If you've got a Twitter account, the number of retweets of your tweets can matter, can come into play. I'm not saying that they do. I have no idea. But these are the types of things that we're hearing the rumblings about that are being incorporated into the social signals. If you've got a YouTube channel, we know that that you can optimize your YouTube channel, YouTube every video in your YouTube channel, by putting the keyword that you think somebody's going to search on in the title of that YouTube video, in the description, and there are tags. So you could put those keywords in the tags as well, and that will help your video appear at the top of the YouTube search results. But also coming into play will be the number of people who've liked your video or disliked your video, and the number of people that have shared, and those types of things. So we're going to see a whole lot more in SEO. A whole lot of social media impact our SEO. So really what you want to do is you want to have great content all the time, and you want to get the keyword phrases that are most important to you in everything that you do, whether it's a Facebook wall post or whether it's a YouTube video. You want to also embed your Facebook, Twitter, social media bookmark sharing so that your visitors can, number one, access your social media. They can become fans, followers, subscribers, etc. And then also make it easy for them to be able to like the content on your page. If you've got social media promotions, let's say you've got a contest in your social media, link it back to your page where they can link it back to your website where they can access some of this information. Really grow your network. So grow, and this is just basic common sense from a marketing perspective, but it will have an impact on your SEO. Grow your networks. The more fans and followers and subscribers that you have, the more potential people you've got to visit that site, the more potential people you've got to buy from you. We know that Google Plus, if you've got a lot of plus ones, that is going to improve your ranking for sure. I mean, it's part of Google, and Google is going to use that as part of their algorithm. And you definitely want to become an authority on whatever the topic of your site is. So links, there's a lot to link popularity, link relevancy, and lots of strategies that you can employ to optimize the points that you have there. Let's take a little look at the miscellaneous points. Miscellaneous points, there are, I think, 300, I've heard, miscellaneous points that are available for all kinds of different things. Some would be very minimal, and some will be, will matter a bit. Miscellaneous points, you get points for the amount of traffic that you've got to your site. So, but I mean, you want to get as much traffic as you can, because that's how you're going to do more business. So the more traffic, the more points you get through the miscellaneous. Domain age, that's your www.yourcompanyname.com, how long you've owned that. Really nothing you can do about that. But if you've owned it for 15 years, don't give it up for a new site that you're building with a new domain. Because that domain age is very valuable. Now, domain registration, that is how long you own your domain for into the future. You can buy your domain, for 10 years if you want. So the search engine basically says, well, if you're only buying it 1 year at a time, then you're not maybe planning to be around for a long time. And we want professional sites that are, going to stand the test of time to be shown in our search results. So by buying your domain for 10 years into the future, you're basically telling them that you're planning to be around. Google also has access to, when your site comes up in the search results, they see who chose you versus other ones. And if they've chosen other ones, then you get less points. If they choose you every time as a direct click-through, then you get some bonus points for that. If when people visit your site, they spend a fair bit of time on your page, then they know it's a good site and one that they will want to give some extra points to, because they want you to appear at the top of the search results. I mean, this is why Google bought Urchin, and now it's Google Analytics. That's on almost everybody's site, so that Google now has access to how long somebody stays on your site once they come in and visit. So there's Mama didn't raise no fool with those guys at Google. They're buying the right company so that they've got access to the right information. It's amazing how much is known about you, your company, and what happens on your site. Also, miscellaneous points for frequency of updates. They want fresh, new content on sites because it keeps people visiting and keeps them there longer. Things like if somebody searches in the search engine for your domain name, points for that. They look at clean code. If you've got programming errors, which can cause a problem when somebody's visiting your site, you're going to lose points for that. You'll get points if you got good Google PageRank. If your site is really slow to load, you'll lose points. So they've got points that are positive and negative. Negative, if you're linking to any of those free-for-all links or link farms. If you've got link spam, and that is where you're just putting something out there to get people to link, anything that's spam, they don't like it. Keyword stuffing, as I mentioned, that if you've got the keyword phrase 300 times on a page and it doesn't read well at all, if it's over optimized, you're going to lose points. Panda was a recent change in the algorithm for Google, and that is for any sites that are lacking substance. If they've got thin content, if it's just you're pulling in information from 5 or 6 different sites and there's nothing there of your own, thin content, you'll lose points. If you've got hidden content, so if you've got text that's white font on a white background, as an example, lose points. And cloaking, and that is where you show the search engine something different than what the visitor sees when they visit your website. Again, gravely negative points for those types of things. Programming errors. If you've got under construction anywhere on your site, take it off immediately. If you go into Google Submission, when they say submit your site, they give you some rules and they give you some tips on submitting. And right there, they tell you, do not use under construction on your site. When they tell you things like that, listen to them. They are telling you that for a reason. They look at who you're hosted with. If you're hosted on a site that is full of spammers and porn and that type of thing, not going to bode well for you. They also look at the accessibility and usability issues. You need to be compliant, particularly in the US. The accessibility issues are very, very strong. So you want to make sure that your site is in compliance. And duplicate content, as I mentioned, you want to stay away from it. Google has these webmaster tools, and I would suggest that you go in and look at these webmaster tools and have your site verified by Google. And they give you a lot of great information in here and a lot of great tools there for you to use. Another thing, I'll just use this in closing. Make sure that you're on the map. If you've got a physical location, I did a search here on Lehigh Valley Hotel. Well, look at the picture that appears at the top. It's the Best Western, and they're getting this through Google Maps, getting the information. So important that you get yourself on the map. Here's an example. I did a search for Boston hotels, and all of these hotels on the left are automatically now at the top of the page because they're on Google Maps. Some of these are probably not to page 3 in the organic search results. So if you've got a physical location, get yourself in Google Places and Google Maps. This session is an hour and I'm at an hour. Hopefully in this session you've gotten some really good ideas, some knowledge, some information on how the search engines work, and some good tips, tools, techniques, and resources on how you can optimize your own site. We do have in eLearningU a number of other webinars that relate to search engine. Some of these go fairly deep. The LinkedIn, the findability formula for tourism business results. But in that session was all about optimizing LinkedIn for the search engines. And Heather Lutzy did that. She did a great job on it. We had another session on Feel the Google Plus Impact, and a lot was talked about the SEO impact as well. So there are lots of other programs that we have in eLearningU that will help you once you want to go a little bit deeper. So that brings us to the end of our session today, Secrets of Search Engine Success. What I'll do now is I will see if anybody has any questions. With the questions, you can either raise your hand and I'll unmute you, or you can type in a question in the questions area and I'll answer your question that way.